Hi, I'm Emma Neal. I'm the youngest daughter of Bruce Neal. And then I work as a counselor in training at Sanibel C School in my spare time. They're kind of the liaison between counselors and the children because counselors are a lot older than the children, even though it doesn't seem that way. So the children feel as though you can't really talk to them. But when they get a teenager who's younger than the counselors but older than the children, it's partially an authority figure and partially someone that you can just talk to and goof off with, but at the same time stay safe with, and you can trust them. He's my father, but he's the founder of Sanibel C School. Him and my mother, Evelyn, they started the C School together. They had dreamed of, they both love the ocean, they love marine biology, and they had dreamed of creating uh, an organization that would teach kids about the ocean and try to increase awareness of the ocean throughout the whole world if they could. So they decided to move down to Sanibel from New York, and then they started the Sanibel C School. It's everything. For me, it's everything. I mean, I grew up as a kid learning all about the ocean and all about the creatures in it and how we should respect it and conserve it and keep it as much as possible. And scientifically, it creates a lot of the oxygen that we need to breathe, and it has a lot of the ecosystems in it. So it's vital to our survival. But at the rate at which we're polluting it, then we're not going to have it for much longer. But yet there's so much of it that we haven't discovered. And the Earth has so much ocean on it and so much water. But at the same time, we've explored more about the moon than we have about the ocean. There's so much of it that you can't look at it all. And it's everything for everybody because it affects every single one of us in turn. Ocean love is respect, because if you don't respect the ocean, a lot of people don't, and they don't realize that by not respecting it or just by using that one plastic water bottle a day, they're actually harming the ocean. And if they know about the ocean and if they love the ocean, then they know to respect it just as we respect our parents while we still love them, or authorities, people that we look up to. When I first moved to Sanibel, it was a long time ago. I didn't really have a ton of friends because I had just moved and I went to a different school than everybody else on the island. But I loved the island and I loved the ocean all around it. And after my parents started Sanibel C School, I met all these different people that I had never known. All of the people that you see at Sanibel C School, they're such great people because they all love the ocean. And you meet these people that you probably wouldn't have in any other circumstance, and they change the way you look at things because some of them have completely different views than you, but at the same time, we all share a common love of the ocean. And it's helped me, because of Sanibel C School, teach and know how to lead better. And just the ocean in itself, I go snorkeling and I free dive, and it's a completely different world than the land is and from what we see. So I see it very differently than a lot of people do, and I feel as though it's helped me as a person because it's made me see how important every single thing on this earth is. Well, as a CIT, it takes a lot of getting to know the kids and playing with the kids and understanding the kids, but at the same time, you have to know when to stop, when to say that's not okay, when to say we got to be careful here, and how to be a leader while not bossing them around too much. Because the counselors are big authority figures to the kids, but the CITs, while we still have some respect and we still have some influence, we have to be nicer about it because otherwise they just walk away from us and don't trust us. There's a week called Coral Reef Week, and we travel down to Big Pine Key in the Keys, and we sleep in tents for a full week or so. It's little bit less, and then we go snorkeling, and we go out in the boat to the pelagic zone, and you dive there. With just masks and snorkels, no fins, and all you can see around you, except for the sky, is 100% blue in all directions. And you can see the plankton almost, so you can look at them, and all around you is just 100% blue, and except for the people. And it's amazing to think that you can't see anything but the people around you and yourself, and it's just very disorienting, but at the same time, it's awesome, and you want to stay there forever. So Sanibel Sea School works with Brightest Horizons, which is a little kids' daycare in Fort Myers, and it's one of the lower income places in Fort Myers. A lot of the kids don't have a lot, and so they bring them out to the ocean, and a lot of the kids have never seen the ocean before or known anything about it. And I worked as a CIT one of the days that they went, and one of the other CITs and I, we both went and worked with these kids, and a lot of them had never seen the ocean before, didn't know what it was, had never been in it, were very scared of it. And in particular, I was working with these kids, and there were two of them, they were twins, and they hadn't seen it before, and they didn't really know what to do about it, but they got really excited. And at first, one of them was clinging to me, and the other one was clinging to the other CIT that was there, and they wouldn't get off. We were dealing with all the other kids too, and they were just staying on us. And eventually we worked with it, but throughout the day they began to loosen up more, and they would get off and swim for longer periods of time, and they would venture further from the CITs and further from the group. And I don't think that they had ever seen it before. They might have seen it, but they'd definitely never been in it before. And I don't think that they'd ever be the same again. The way that they acted, they were so much more out of their shells. They were so much more outgoing, and they were so happy about it. Every time we caught another sea creature or we just found some seaweed floating past, every new thing that they saw was just completely new to them and 100% awe-inspiring for them. And it was very humbling to see things that I'd never seen before, because I just assumed growing up with a marine biologist for a father that people knew what I did. That a lot of people just knew what all of the shells were or knew some scientific names of fish, but seeing the kids not knowing anything, not even seeing the ocean before, really changed the way I see it, and it really changed them that day as well. Well, they went from being scared of the ocean to being comfortable and loving it, and it really showed me when they were scared of it, they didn't really think much about the fish in it, and when we would show them a fish, they'd kind of just throw it or not care as much. And it really showed me what fear does for people, and why we shouldn't be afraid of things that we don't know about just because we don't know about them. So for me, it really changed me and made me realize that just because I'm afraid of something or I don't know about something doesn't mean that I should automatically think that it doesn't matter. And it made me look more into what I fear and what I believe, and more into what I don't know, and maybe want to learn more about what I don't know. Well, fear is makes us do things that we would never have done without it, and it makes us do actions and things that we don't really think through completely because we're too gripped with it and we can't deal with it, or we don't even know what we're doing. And fear a lot of times comes back with negative results rather than positive ones. And it can be positive, and good things can come out of fear, but more often than not, it is negative that comes back. And when fear creates such negative results, we should learn how to get over our fears, or at least face them enough so that our results aren't negative, that we can put aside that fear to act in a just and right manner. Mostly it's just being hands-on. Usually the counselors, if a child's afraid to do something, the counselor automatically goes in and does it. So if a kid's afraid to jump off of the side of the boat, the counselor's the first to do that, even though they would do it normally. If a kid's afraid to do something, if a counselor or CIT does it, it shows the kid that there's nothing to really be afraid of. Just like if they're scared of an animal, if you show them that it's not hurting you when you're holding it, or it's not doing anything to your hands and you let them hold it, it's the hands-on experience of you doing that action and then having them mimic what you're doing that makes them not be afraid of what they're doing anymore. Well, and before Sea School, I had always thought that there was one decision and you couldn't really fluctuate, and I was all like, you have to stick with the plan, everything's on the right timeline. But after Sea School, I learned a lot with when there's lightning, when there's thunder, you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to change your plan and go along with the new plan. And I'd always thought you can't change a plan, calendar set, all written in stone. But after Sea School, I learned things happen. You have to be able to deal with them. And if things happen, you have to say, okay, well, that didn't go according to plan, but we can adapt to that. We can change. We can do this instead and do that tomorrow. Or just learn how to deal when situations arise that you would never have thought of. Well, in the real life, when you're grown up, not that I know a lot about it, You have to know how to adapt to real situations, because you may think that you're going in one direction with something and it may not go the direction you were planning, just as people may not react to it the way that you thought they would, or people get freaked out about things and then they make decisions hastily, and you have to know how to react to how other people are responding to you and how things go different than your plan. So you have to be able to be flexible and change, and C School has really taught me how to be flexible and know how to change and change my behavior as a result. If I were a sea creature, I think I would be a flying fish. They're really cool creatures in that whenever they get scared, they jump out of the water and they have these fins that come forward and they can glide really far. And I think it's a cool mixture of the ocean and land animals and birds, because normally you don't really think of the two touching as much. You don't really think of creatures that can be on both other than the normal ones like sea turtles. You don't think of fish that can go on land or can go in the air. But when you think about creatures that can actually do that, it's really interesting. And when you see them, if you're driving in a boat, you see them going off the sides of the boat, and they seem to fly forever and ever. And you want to watch if they stop, but sometimes they go out of your vision, and it makes you wonder, like, do they keep going or do they stop? And it's such an awe-inspiring experience, because you see them flying, and it makes you think, well, if they can fly, then I can swim. And I can do things. Well, I've met a lot of international people, as well as people locally and from just different parts of the country that I never would have met. I have friends in France now. I have people that I know in London, in Spain, and all around the globe, in the Czech Republic, places that I wouldn't have even thought that I could have friends with, or people that I would have never met. And it's really increased my international understanding too, because I see the way that they have their manners or the way that they respond to situations, and it's very different. And sometimes there's something that's lost in translation, but a lot of times other things are gained as well. At Sanibel Sea School we have a saying that's uku pau, and I'm pretty sure it's Hawaiian, but it means that everybody works until the work's all done. And everybody at Sea School works. Like, if you have a task, if you have to sweep the building and you finish, you go on and help somebody else, or you do another task. If you finish sweeping, you're not done for the day. You keep working until everybody's done. And we talk while we work, and we make jokes, or we listen to music. We do whatever we want when we're working, and it gets the work done faster. And you make friends at the same time, because you all have to work, so you're all equally doing the same load of work, and it makes you realize you're not alone in it, and you make friends with these people because you share the burden of all of you working and all of you dealing with the same children. Well, it's important because you need to know to work even when you're not told. You need to know to go and exceed expectations, and that even though your task is done, other people aren't done, and you should help them no matter what. Because if you're done and you go home early, then there are people that might have to stay late because you decided to go home early. And a lot of places there don't let you go home early. If they don't let you go home early and you just sit around working, you might have been able to go home early if everybody was done. And at Sea School, if we're all done before 5 o'clock, then we can leave. So you might as well work as hard as you can and try to go home as early as you can and just get all of the work done quicker. There's really not a way to describe it. It's different than anything else. I imagine it would be like floating in outer space, but if it's calm and you're just laying on your back, you can just stretch out with your arms and your legs all extended, and it's being suspended in the space between air and water, and it's almost like time has stopped for you. And you can look up at the sky and see clouds, or keep your eyes closed and just hear the sound of the ocean. And it's almost a space between reality, at least for me, to hear all of these things and see all of these things and just stay and float for a while and let all of your attention relax and dissipate, because you don't have to do anything. You can just lay and float.
Have you ever seen a sea creature, like a turtle or a cool big something? And what's it like when you're underwater with these animals? You look at an animal, you look a sea creature in the eye.
It's interesting. You can do it on land with a lot of different creatures. If you have pets, you look them in the eye. But a lot of the time, if you do it on land, it's with a domesticated animal, an animal that's used to humans. But a lot of the ocean's never the same twice. So a lot of the time, if you are diving, these fish, a lot of them won't have seen people or won't be used to them. So what I like to do is I like to turn upside down in schools of fish while I'm snorkeling and just look at them. And at first they shy away from you, but then they get more comfortable and they move towards you and they begin to get in your face, and they just get aggressive sometimes, even when they see the reflection of themselves in your mask. And it's unlike anything else, because while a cat or a dog will do that to you, it's because they're domesticated and they know that they can, and they're nice to you and sweet to you. But if a wild animal does it to you, it's because of their own choice rather than anything they've learned in the past. I have, when I first went out into the deep blue ocean, I was very scared. I am a large human, and it is strange to feel small. For me, to feel short, because not a lot of people my age or people that I interact with are that much taller than me. But when you're in an expanse of just blue all around you, you feel like the smallest thing and the biggest thing out there all at the same time. And it's just so much blue around you that you feel tiny in comparison to the entire ocean. You feel like the entire ocean's around you. And it's frightening when you first do it. It's scary. You think you're going to die or you're going to get crushed, and you survive, and then you come back to it and you're like, oh, well, that was actually really cool. I want to do that again. But when you first do it, or the first time you do anything in the ocean, it's scary because there's always that what if. What if the shark decides to come back this time? What if I don't make it up from the bottom of my free dive? What if I don't come back from the deep blue? But you do it once and you're like, well, I came back. Nothing happened. I'm fine. And I'm better than fine. And after a while, the what ifs are still there, but you're like, okay, well, what if I see something really cool instead? And the positive what ifs tend to outweigh the negative ones. I've been coming to Sanibel Sea School since it started, probably 8 years, a little bit less now. And I really can't think of a better place I'd like to spend my summer or my free time in my winter. It's one of my favorite places to be. It's challenging. It's putting people out of their comfort zones, and that's scary for a lot of people to be outside of where they're comfortable. It's weird to be out of your comfort zone. You don't like it, but it is so worth it in the end. It pays off because putting you out of your comfort zone makes you realize who you really are inside, makes you realize how you respond to things. And if I had never been out of my comfort zone, then I wouldn't know a lot of things about myself. I wouldn't know how I feel when I'm out of my comfort zone, how I feel when I'm uncomfortable with a situation or freaked out. And it's that hands-on putting you out of your comfort zone while you're still safe that Sea School does. They make sure that you're safe, but then they push you so far out of your comfort zone that sometimes you're like, I don't even know how to respond. But they're there for you when you are, because they know what it's like too, because they've done it as well. And it develops you as a person. Well, it makes you see things that you wouldn't have seen. If you're in your comfort zone all the time, if you're in the place you always are, if you're used to what you're doing and it's the same thing over and over again, then nothing new has to happen. And once you're uncomfortable, once you're out of your comfort zone, once you don't know what's happening, then you start to see other sides of yourself that you wouldn't have seen if you stayed inside your comfort zone. And you see how you react to when things turn bad, or you see how you react to a certain set of conditions and how you react when your comfort's taken away from you. And it's very interesting to see that about yourself. And then from that, you can learn how to change. So if you find out you don't do well in tough situations, then you can learn how to develop that. Or if you find that you don't enjoy being underwater, then you can know how to move on from that. Even if it seems like it's a huge risk, it pays off in the end. Even if you feel like you're going to be cold the rest of your life from winter camp, you're not. You're going to warm up. I mean, if you think that you could drown, we have lifeguards. It's every what if that you can come up with. I mean, not everyone. I mean, there are some what ifs that are very outlandish, but a lot of the what ifs that make you frightened of being out of your comfort zone or coming to Sea School are answered. And it makes you realize more about yourself. So even if you're on the edge about it, if you're on the fence, do it. If you're 100% scared, do it. They'll be there, right, every step of the way. They don't just throw you in and say, I'm done, wash their hands of you. They are with you, and they guide you, and they help you with everything you do.